Hello everyone, Jilles Groskamp here from Team Infinity, and today in this video I want to show you how I built my clutch for my IF15, my IF15 110 nitro car. And I will rebuild my clutch that I used in the first ENS race in Eigen when I TQ. And I want to show you all the steps I go through, how I clean the clutch, how I set up the gap and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoy my video. So first I will take off the clutch. I always use a plier with a plastic side so I won't scratch the flywheel. Take a 2.5 and carefully take off all the parts, especially the ring inside. Take off the other ring so you maintain the same gap. Then recheck the spring tension. It's about 0.34, 0.35. Take off the spring. Take off the flight weights. So you don't have to take off the flywheel. Everything is nice. First thing you can do is you clean a little bit of motor spray. A little bit clean the surface. There's no more rubber or any dust. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna install the clutch weight. Before you do that, I would like to show you how I install the set screw in the flyway to add some extra weight, and this should give a little bit more punch. As you know, the flyweight has to be on the left side in the pin, because if the flyweight goes this way, the weight has to move outside when it's moving. So the left side is the hole for the pin and the right side is the set screw. Now I will show you how I install the set screw. You first want to have a flat surface, and the hole of the set screw is about a little bit more than 2 millimeter, and my 1.5 wrench is also a little bit more than 2 millimeter. So as I said, the hole has to be on the right side. So I gonna stick my wrench through the hole of the flight weight. I gonna put the set screw on it and I push it. Now the set screw can go in smooth and without damaging the clutch weight too much. So now you try to find the middle of the flight weight, the clutch weight, and now you have to take a file to make it smooth on both sides. So you take a file and you're gonna make sure that the surface is completely flat and that the set screw is not sticking out. So do this the same with all three. So again, you slightly push in your wrench through the hole. This is a little bit more than 2 millimeter. Take the set screw and push it anti-clockwise. Push it down flat. So minimum damage is done on the clutch weight, so you can easily remove the materials. I notice if you add the set screw from the top, you damage more the clutch weight, and it's not as easy to get it smooth. So that's why I do it from the bottom side. So now the clutch weights are flat and clean. I put them on, and remember the left hole is the hole where you put in on the pin. The right hole is the one you put on the clutch weight, because if you turn this side, this one can go outside. So now we put on this plate and make sure you clean it first. It's clean, and make sure that this is working free. Very important. And now the clutch shoe. Also clean it a little bit with motor cleaner. And also with the clutch shoe, make sure it goes on very free. Then the spring holder. And this is the standard Infinity spring. It works really fine. And make sure it's free, but out of the kit it's already free. You don't have to make any adjustments or you don't have to make any modification. Then the spring nut, and it's not a 1/8 clutch, so a 1/10 clutch you can put on by your hand. And then the last, you tied it, and I will make the same setup as I had before. So my Infinity clutch tool is still on 0, and now I check, it's 0.2, and it was about 0.3435. Now it's 0.3. It's 0.35. So now we're gonna do the gap. So how you measure the gap? I first clean the clutch bell, and I always leave the bearing in, and also on the other side 2 bearings, and you put on without any shims, so the clutch bell is tied to the clutch shoe. And now with the caliper you're gonna measure the distance, and you put the caliper on 0. Now I will add all the shims that I had before on the clutch. And now I'm gonna measure again, and it's about 0.5. This is a good measurement for the gap, 0.5. So that means the clutch bell is about 0.5 millimeter from the clutch shoe. Make sure the bearings are nice and free. Usually don't have to replace them often. Just if it goes free like this, it's ready to go. So now the final thing is the truss bearing and the end play. As you know, the truss bearing rings have a big side and a small side, and the big side goes on the engine side and the smaller one on the outside. So what I do is these are all the end play shims. I will remain the same. First gonna clean the truss bearing and the shims. Just make sure everything is nice and clean again. No dust, no grease too much. There still comes a lot of black from it. So now I have it's from my EP car Ultra Joint Grease, but this works quite well for the truss bearing. So I put some, not too much, put some grease in between the little ball. Not too much, otherwise it will spread out just enough to make it smooth and can work for some time. So now I put the end play shims that I had before, the truss bearing and the wider inner to the inside of the engine. And the end play, I prefer to have a minimum end play, and you can measure it of course, but you can also feel, and it has to move. You have to have a little bit of end play, because there's also, you can add it up with the gap. So now I have 0.5 gap and about 0.2 of end play, so the total gap is 0.7. And this is, for me, it's a good feeling for the clutch. So everything is done. Make sure that the screw is tight so you can hold the flywheel and you tight. It's ready to go. Thank you again for watching my video. I hope you enjoy it, and till next time.